Okay, so we end up with your vaccination card. Next, let's talk about your herd immunity. So papiyaw lang ito kasi may separate po tayong schedule for III, your inflammation, infection, and immunity. Yan. So we have your herd immunity. So madalas narinig natin ito ng pandemic. Herd immunity is the community immunity. Tandaan niyo po yan. Ito yung protection ng herd. Ano bang herd? Yung dami ng taong naturukan ng bakuna. Okay? So the purpose of herd immunity is to protect the susceptible individuals or the vulnerable individuals. So yun po yung purpose kung bakit kailangan magkaroon ng herd immunity. At least man lang 70% to 90% yung ating herd immunity. That is to end a pandemic. Okay? To end an epidemic or pandemic, the herd immunity should be at least 70 to 90%. Tandaan niyo yan. So over the total population, kailangan 70% of the total population had already been immunized with that certain disease or pathogen. So example, sa COVID-19, kailangan na meet natin yung 70 to 90% para hindi na po mag-increase yung hawaan. So again, so pag sinabing herd immunity, it is the community immunity. Bilang ng mga taong immune sa sakit, para protektahan yung mga taong hindi makareceive ng bakuna. Sino yung mga hindi nakaka-receive ng bakuna? Yung mga vulnerable individuals. Like yung may mga sakit na HIV, yan. So sila po yun. Kasi may mga certain vaccines kasi na hindi pwede sa mga immunocompromised. So yun yun. So it occurs when a high percentage of the ko. So nangyayari ang herd immunity kapag nakuha natin yung percentage, okay, ng community immune to a disease. Ibig sabihin yan, pwedeng ang kanilang immunity ay na-achieve nila through vaccination or inoculation and your exposure to your actual antigen or the disease. So dalawang proseso po ang pwede magkaroon ng immunity ng tao. Pwedeng natural immunity or artificial immunity. Natural kapag nagkasakit ka sa sakit, and artificial kapag tinurukan ka ng vaccine. So, kapag ang total number population, 70% of the total population was immune already to that certain pathogen or disease, then you achieve your herd immunity. Especially kapag nasa 70% na or up to 90%. Yan. And that will make the spread of the disease unlikely. Okay, so medyo babagal na yung transmission rate ng sakit kapag meron na po tayong herd immunity. And take note, lumalabas po ito sa board exam. Herd immunity is the community immunity. The percentage of community immune to a certain disease. Okay? Making the spread of the disease from person to person unlikely. So that is the meaning of herd immunity. So next, pag-usapan natin dito yung target setting. So bago natin pag-usapan at mag-compute, kailangan i-memorize nyo muna itong important natin na informations. Kasi ito yung magagamitin natin para sa ating computation. So, tatlo lang naman ang tatandaan natin pagdating sa mga vaccines. Yung kanyang doses, number of doses per ampule, and the wastage factor of the vaccine. Sir, what is wastage factor? Bilang ng masasayang lang sanang doses ng bakuna. Okay, kailangan 2.5 lamang. 2.5 doses of vaccine lamang ang pwedeng masira or pwedeng masayang. Yan yung allowed wastage factor ng bakuna. So, pag sinabi natin BCG, 1 dose only. Kasi di ba sinabi natin kanina, BCG is administered at birth or anytime after birth. Single lang po yung dose niya. So, pag sinabing doses of BCG, 1 dose only. Then per ampule or per vial of your BCG, it can immunize up to 20 children. Bakit? Kasi it contains 20 doses per ampule. Yan. 20 doses per ampule. How about wastage factor? 2.5. Siya po ang may pinakamabigat na wastage factor. Okay? Again, siya may pinakamabigat na wastage factor which is the 2.5 wastage factor. Sir, is it a must na i-memorize namin yan? Yes. Kasi once na may lumabas sa tanong sa board exam na target setting at di mo kabisado kung ilang doses ang BCG, ilan ang laman kaya kada vials niya or kada ampule niya, at ano yung wastage factor niya, hindi mo matatama yung sagot sa board exam. Kasi kailangan mo yan pag magko-compute ka. Again, so number of doses, 1. Number of doses per ampule, kada bote niya, 20. Yan, 20 doses per ampule. And the wastage factor is 2.5. Siya po ang may pinaka-weighted wastage factor among the rest of your vaccines. Siya yung may pinaka-mataas or mabigat, 2.5 ang kanyang wastage factor. Again, ulitin natin. Doses, 1. Doses per ampule, 20. And wastage factor is 2.5. Kailangan ma-memorize niyo yan. Kailangan tandaan niyo lagi yan. BCG 122, 2.5. Next, Hepa B. Total number of doses of Hepa B, kung naalala nyo, sabi natin kanina, it is 3 doses. Yan. 3 doses vaccine kasi it is given at 6 weeks, 10 weeks, 14 weeks. So the total number of doses of your Hepa B is 3. 3 doses. Number of doses per ampule, 10. Lumalabas sa board exam. So 10 doses per ampule po ang Hepa B. So kaya po niyang magbakuna ng 10 bata. Next, wastage factor 1.1. Yan, 1.1 is the wastage factor of your Hepa B. So 1.1. Kung kanina 2.5 si BCG, ito naman 1.1. Yan, Hepa B is 1.1. 3 doses, 10 doses per ampule, and 1.1 wastage factor. Sa DPT naman, 3 doses din ng DPT kasi di ba sabi ko simultaneous yan with OPV and Hepa B dati. So 6 weeks, 10 weeks, 14 weeks ang pagbibigay ng doses nito. So number of doses of DPT is 3 doses. Number of doses per ampule, kadalasan karamihan ng mga DPT nasa 20 doses per ampule. Yan. 20 doses per ampule. Pero some ampules will contain only up to 10 doses. So wastage factor of your DPT is 1.67. Yan, 1.67 wastage factor. Again, BCG is 2.5, Hepa B is 1.1, DPT is 1.67. Huwag niyong kakalimutan yan. Okay? DPT. Next, OPV, same lamang po siya kay DPT. Kung ano kay DPT, yun na rin kay OPV. DPT and OPV almost the same po ang kanilang target setting values. We have a number of doses, 3. Kasi given at 6 weeks, 10 weeks, 14 weeks. Number of doses per ampule, 20. Yan, 20 doses per ampule. Next, wastage factor, same with your DPT, 1.67. Yan, 1.67 din po kanyang wastage factor. Same lang po siya kay DPT kung mapapansin ninyo. Okay? Number of doses, number of doses per ampule, and the wastage factor of your DPT vaccine, 1.67. Next, for measles, single dose, same with your BCG. Okay? Single dose lang po siya. Number of doses per ampule, 10. Okay? 10, same with your Hepa B. So wastage factor is 2. Second highest from BCG. Diba si BCG, 2.5. Si measles, 2. Okay, so wag magkakamali. Measles, single dose, 10 doses per ampule, and wastage factor of 2. Yan, measles. Next, tetanus toxoid. Number of doses, 5 doses. 5 doses, including the booster shots. Kasi TT1 and TT2 are the primary doses, while TT3 to TT5 are the booster shots of tetanus toxoid. So tetanus toxoid, number of doses per ampule, 10 or 20, and wastage factor is 1.67, similar with your OPV and your DPT. So kung isa-summarize po natin yung kanilang wastage factors, so we have here your BCG ang may pinakamataas, followed by your anti-measles vaccine, and followed by your DOT. What is DOT vaccine? DPT, OPV, and tetanus toxoid. Huwag niyong kakalimutan yan. Si BCG, that is 2.5 wastage factor. AMV, 2. DOT 1.67, and hepatitis B is 1.1. So yan yung kanilang wastage factor kasi yan yung i-memorize ninyo. Di bali na yung doses kasi kabisado nyo naman na yan. Isang BCG, 3 DPT, 3 OPV, 3 Hepa B, isang measles, 5 tetanus toxoid. So I think madali lang yon sa part na yon. Pero dito sa wastage factor, kailangan nyo i-familiarize at i-memorize kasi bago lang po ito sa iba. Okay? So we have your BCG 2.5, AMV is 2, DOT or the DPT OPV tetanus 1.67, and the hepatitis B vaccine is 1.1. Ayan. So I'll give you 3 minutes to familiarize your doses, number of doses per ampule, and the wastage factor of these vaccines. Bago tayo mag-compute. Yan. Magtatanong ako para pagdating ng computation, kabisado nyo na yan. Kasi pag di mo kabisado yan, hindi mo mako-compute ng maayos yung ating target setting. Okay? So 3 minutes. Then tatanungin ko anong wastage factor ng ganito, ilang doses ang ganito, ilang doses per ampule nito. Yan. So paki-familiarize at paki-memorize yung aking sinabi. Again, ulitin ko 1 dose of BCG, 3 doses of DPT, OPV, Hepa B, and a single dose of measles. For tetanus toxoid, 5 doses including your booster shots. Yeah. 3 minutes lang. So, okay. Labas ka muna doon. Ayan. 3 minutes. Please familiarize and memorize the wastage factor, number of doses. So yan lang talaga ang kailangan natin sa computation. Wala nang iba. Then please prepare for a clean sheet of paper or any bond paper, kahit ano, basta makapag-compute ka ng maayos. Tapos calculator. Ayan, nasabayan po ba ako? Acknowledge kung sabayan po tayo sa mga doses nito, mga wala pa po. Ano yun? Ano yung wala? Walang sounds. Okay, ready na? Okay, try natin. Total number of doses of DPT. Total number of doses of DPT. 3. How about measles? Measles. Okay, how about Hepa B? Hepa B. OPV. Okay. Per ampule naman tayo, per ampule. Measles, doses per ampule. Measles, doses per ampule. 10. How about BCG? BCG, 20. How about tetanus toxoid? Tetanus toxoid, doses per ampule. Doses per ampule. Yan, 10 or 20. How about your Hepa B? Hepa B, 10. Okay, so very good. Next, wastage factor of BCG. Wastage factor of BCG. Okay, how about hepatitis B? 2.5 po. Next, hepatitis B. Hepa B, 1.1. Very good. How about DPT, OPV, and tetanus toxoid? DPT, OPV, and tetanus toxoid. Wastage factor, 1.67. Okay, so ready na. Measles is 2. Wastage factor of measles is 2. Okay, so step by step po ang ating computation dito sa ating target setting. So unang step, you must first determine the eligible population out of the given total population. Ano po ibig sabihin nito? Hindi porket binigyan ka ng total population sa situation sa board exam, ay yun na yung tutukan mo ng bakuna. Mali. So out of the total population, you must extract the eligible population. Kunin mo lamang doon yung eligible population. Okay? So paano po ba kumuha ng eligible population? First, determine in the situation if the vaccine is for infants, children, or for mothers. Yun po ang una mong titingnan. Ano bang bakuna ang kailangang iturok ng nurse or midwife? Para ba ito sa bata or para ito sa nanay? Para ito sa bata, gamitin mo ang 0.03. Pag ito ay sa nanay, 0.035. Ganun lamang po yun. Ulitin ko Unang gagawin, anong unang gagawin? Hanapin kung ilang bata or ilang nanay ang tuturukan mo ng bakuna out of the total population. Paano? Ganito po yan. Formula. Total population is multiplied by target setting equals eligible population. Okay? So, ulitin ko, from the total population, multiply it by your target setting. Then the answer is the eligible population. Pag sinabi mong eligible population, they are the qualified individuals to receive the immunization. Okay? Sila yung target clients natin para sa bakunahan, kumbaga. Pero ang tawag natin sa kanila, eligible population. Okay? So for target setting of eligible population, use 3% or 0.03 to determine the total number or number of children and infants for immunization. Sir, paano namin malalaman kung ang gagamitin namin ay 0.03 or 0.035? Malalaman mo po yan kung nasa situation yung vaccine na ibibigay. Kunwari, pag sinabi niyang how many infants are subjected for the immunization of 10 dose measles o measles, tapos nakalagay na din pala sa situation na infants, so alam mo na ang gagamitin mo ay 0.03. Nakuha po? Pero pag nabasa mo tetanus toxoid, alangan naman kay baby ang tetanus toxoid. Ang tetanus toxoid para kay nanay lang po yun. So pag tetanus toxoid para kay nanay, gamitin mo ang 0.035. Okay, so yun po ang ating tatandaan. So use the 0.035 kapag ito ay sa mga nanay. Pag sa mga bata, ang bakuna, use your 0.03. Nakuha or hindi? Acknowledge kong naintindihan ang ibig sabihin ng step number 1. Acknowledge ko nakuha ang step number 1. Okay, na-gets. Okay. So example, dito, sabi dito, Lorna was assigned to Barangay San Roque with 20,000 population. How many infants are expected to receive measles injection? So take note, Out of the total population, hindi po yan yung tuturukan mo ng bakuna. So, hahanapin mo ilang infants out of the 20,000 population ang babakunahan ng measles. So, anong gagawin natin? Formula is total population multiplied by 0.03. Why 0.03? Kasi infants po ang hinahanap natin. Yan. So, total population is 20,000 population. So, tinanong, how many infants are expected to receive measles? For infants po talaga yan. So, total population is 20,000. So, eligible population to find is infants. So, use 3% for target setting. So, 20,000 total population multiplied by 0.03 kasi yan yung decimal point multiplied by ayan, nawala po tayo. Wait lang. Yan, nawala po tayo. So, 20,000 total population multiplied by 0.03. Sir, saan mo kinuha yung 0.03? Constant na po yan. Standard yan na yan yung gagamitin mo sa tuwing ang hahanapin mo na eligible population ay infants or children. So, 20,000 times 0.03 is equal to 600 infants. So, the eligible population is 600 infants. O, nakuha hindi? Naintindihan po ba step number 1? Okay, so yan po yung ating formula for the computation of eligible population for immunization. Yan. So, nagets po? Acknowledge po kapag dinaintindihan para sabay-sabay po tayong matuto. Nakuha. Okay, very good. Aba, may nakakompute na 600. O, constant po yung ating 0.03 ha. Constant. Constant yun. Hindi po yun magbabago. At hindi magbabago. Yan. Next is step number 2. Determine the total vaccine required. Ano naman po itong step number 2? Ngayong alam mo na kung ilang bata ang babakunahan ng measles. Next step is kung sakaling kung sakaling tanungin man sa board exam kung ilang annual dose ang kailangan. Yan, ilang annual dose ang kailangan. So to compute for your total vaccine required, ang gagawin mo lang dyan is eligible population multiplied by the total number of doses to complete your immunization. So ilang doses bang kailangan para ma-complete ang measles immunization? Isa lang, di ba? Single dose lang naman ng measles. Pag na-receive mo naman na yung isang dose ng measles, complete ka na sa measles vaccination. So, 600 infants multiplied by 1 dose of measles is equal to 600. Ganun lang. So, the total vaccine required is 600. Madali lang, di ba? After makuha ang eligible population, step number 2 is to compute for the total vaccine requirement. Yan, total vaccine requirement. Yung tawag dyan, total vaccine requirement. So if you want to know the annual dose of the vaccine, then include the wastage factor. Tuloy-tuloy mo lang. Step number 3. Determine the annual vaccine doses required. Pag annual, ano bang annual? Yearly vaccine required. Ito yung kailangan mo sa buong taon para kompletuhin yung bakunahan ng bata. So paano malalaman? Paano makukompute yan? Total vaccine dose required times wastage factor of the vaccine. Kailangan memorize mo yung wastage factor kanina. So, ano ba yung na-compute natin kaninang total vaccine requirement ng bata, ng ating community? Kailangan mo ng 600 doses. Tama? Then, what is the wastage factor of measles? 2. So, 600 times 2 is 1,200. So, the annual vaccine doses required is 1,200 doses. 1,200 doses. Naintindihan po ba? Nakakasabay pa? Hindi na. Magkaiba po yung total vaccine required sa annual vaccine doses required. Pag annual, you must include in your formula yung wastage factor ng bakuna para makuha mo yung annual vaccine doses niya. Yan, para makuha mo yung annual vaccine dose, kailangan i-include mo yung kanyang wastage factor. Sir, ang tanong po is ilang vials daw po yung kailangan kada taon? Kapag vials ang tinanong, pag natapos mong makuha yung kanyang annual vaccine required, i-divide mo lang ilan ba yung doses kada vials ng measles. Ilan ba yon? Ilan ba yung ilan ba yung doses per vials? 10, tama? 10 doses per vials ang measles. So i-divide mo lang ulit siya ng 10 kung vials ang tinatanong, hindi doses. So 1,200 doses divided by 10 kasi 10 doses per ampule ang measles is equal to 120 vials. Nakasabay hindi. Kung sakali lang po natanungin ka na ilang vials ang kailangan mo. Okay? So ganyan po yung computation. Pag nakuha mo yung annual vaccine doses niya, i-divide mo lang siya sa total dose per vial ng bakuna, then that is the total number of vials. So kailangan mo ng 120 vials in your request. So kailangan mo mag-request ng 120 vials of vaccine. Naintindihan? Nakakasabay? Okay, so bago ako pumunta sa step number 4, fact knowledge, kung nasabayan po tayo. Sir, sa exam po ba pwede magdala ng calculator? Yes po. Pwedeng calculator, yung mga single-use calculator, wag lamang yung mga programmable tsaka scientific. Yan. Kasi bawal lang cellphone sa board exam. Ayan. Example ito. Actual board question. Lorna has an eligible target of 600 ages 0 to 1 year old for the current year. If she computes her EPI target on anti-measles, how many vials of 10 doses will she need? A 120, B 80, C 102, or D 100. So pag ganyan yung tanong, syempre step by step ka. Is there a need pa ba na kailangan mong alamin ang eligible population? Meron pa bang kailangan nating i-multiply ng 0.03 dito or wala na? Wala na. Bakit wala na? So you must skip the step number 1 kasi nakalagay naman na sa situation yung eligible target mo, 600. So ibig sabihin yan, 600 infants na po yan. Tama? 600 infants na yan. Anong bakulang tinatanong? Measles. 600 infants times 1 dose of measles, kasi single dose lang naman yan, 600. So that is the TVR. Ang tawag dito, total vaccine required. TVR, total vaccine required. Then, 600 multiplied by wastage factor of measles na 2. 2. Saan ko nakuha yung 2? Wastage factor po yun. WF na lang yan. Is equal to 1,200. And that is the annual dose. Annual dose. AD na lang. That is the annual dose required. Yan. Vaccine annual dose required. The next, since ang tinatanong is how many vials of 10 doses. So 1,200 doses. Okay? 1,200 doses divided by 10 doses per ampule of measles is equal to 120. So the correct answer in this question is 120. And that is an actual board question. Yan. Okay? So yun po yung step by step kung paano nakuha yung sagot na 120. Okay? So no need to compute for the eligible population in this situation kasi it is mentioned already that the eligible target is 600 infant. Yan, 600 infant, 0 to 1 year old. So no need for computation for eligible population. Yan. Fact knowledge, naintindihan po? Kailangan hindi lang 5 sa 10 ang sumasagot. Kailangan madami ang yes. Sa dami nyo eh. Noted, yes po. Example, share more sample po. Yes, constant po yun. Okay? Di ba pinamemorize ko sa inyo ang mga wastage factor? Yun yung mga hindi nagbabago. Karelasyon lang ang nagbabago. Yes po. Okay. Screen po ng step 1 and step 2. Okay, sige po. Ayan, screen daw. Balik tayo sa screen ng step 1 at step 2. Ito po yung step 1. Ayan, step 1 po ito. Computation for eligible population. That is the step 1. Hindi po nagbabago yung mga wastage factor, yung total number of doses ng vaccine. Yan. So yun yung kailangan nyo talagang i-memorize. Yan. Step number 1. So gamitin mo ang 0.03 kapag ang hinahanap mong target population ay mga bata. Gamitin mo naman ang 0.035 kapag ang target na hinahanap mong population ay mga nanay. Yan. Ang step number 2 naman, vaccine required. So madali lang naman ang vaccine required kasi eligible population multiplied by the total doses of the vaccine. Yan. Eligible population multiplied by the total doses of the vaccine. Yan, okay? So that's your step number 2. Okay. So okay na? So sa situation, sa step number 4 natin, yun yung kanina. Pag nakuha mo ng annual vaccine dose niya, i-divide mo lang siya sa total doses per vial niya or total doses per ampule. Then yun ay mabibilang mong ampule or mabibilang mong doses per vials or bilang ng vials. So ayan po. Situation drills tayo para mas ma-master natin itong target setting. Yan. Okay, situation drills. Try nyo po ito. Barangay X has a total population of 2,600 for the current year. If the midwife computes her EPI target on anti-measles, how many children will be her eligible population? Paki-compute po yan. Yeah. So paano yan? Step 1. Punta ka sa step 1. Tapos ang tinatanong is eligible population. Ayan. So if the midwife computes her EPI target on anti-measles, how many children will be her eligible population? Barangay X has a total population of 2,600. Tingnan natin. Anong sagot ng karamihan? Tingnan ko muna. Bago ko sagutan. 78, 78, 78. Okay, so the correct answer is 78. Tama. Yan, tama. 78 is the correct answer. Kasi madali lang naman yung tanong natin dyan. Ang gagawin lang natin is just multiply the total population of Barangay X to 0.03. And that is the number of children to be immunized with anti-measles. So 2,600 multiplied by 0.03 as the 3% of the total population is equal to 78 infants. Okay, very good. So 78 infants po ang kailangan nating bakunahan ng measles sa Barangay X. Next, Nurse Ling Ling has a total eligible target of 205 mothers. If she computes her EPI target on tetanus toxoid, how many vials of 20 doses will she need? Yun na po yun. O, paki-compute po. Nurse Ling Ling has a total eligible target of 205 mothers. If she computes her EPI target on tetanus toxoid, how many vials of 20 doses will she need? Yan, so medyo mahaba ng konti yung ating formula dito. So mag-start ka sa step number 2 hanggang step number 4. Step 2 to 4 yan. 'Di ba? Kasi hindi mo na gagawin diyan yung step number 1. Tama mali kasi nakalagay na diyan eligible target mo na mothers eh. So no need to know kung ilang nanay ang kailangan mo kasi yan yung nasa situation. Pero pag total population nilagay, doon ka mag-compute ng step number 1. Pero pag sinabi ng eligible target, eligible population, no need to compute for eligible population. Kasi kung ano nandyan, yun na yun. Okay, so try nyo po yan. Step 2 to step number 4 po ang kailangan nyong gawin. Okay. Siguro matatapos yung mga 2 minutes. 1 minute. 1 minute, kaya na yan. Kapag naintindihan mo yung ating kanina, step by step. Ayan. Ulitin ko 205 mothers is your eligible population. Okay, tingnan natin kung may nakasagot na. Iba-iba ngayon iba-iba. Sir, may round off po ba? Yes, kapag vials, pwede mong i-round off yan. I-round up mo siya. I-round up ha, pataas. I-round up mo kasi yung point, hindi mo naman pwedeng basagin yung isang vial para makuha lang yung drops niya. Additional dose niya. So, i-round up mo na lang. It's better na may extra ka kaysa kulangin ka. Try natin. So as per na situation, meron na tayong total population of 205. Meron tayong eligible population na 205. Yan. 205 times 5. Saan ko kinuha yung 5? 5 doses of tetanus toxoid. Yan. So 5 doses is equal to 1,025. Tapos, after nyan, 1,025, i-multiply ko siya sa wastage factor niya. So, ano bang wastage factor ng ating tetanus toxoid? 1.67, kung di tayo nagkakamali. Yan. So, times 1.67. So, is equal to 1,711.75. Yan. Then, since ang tinatanong is how many vials, and this is a doses. Yan, doses po ito. So, i-divide mo siya sa 20. Divided by 20 doses. Divided by 20. So, ang makukuha mo dyan is 85.58. Yan. or 85.59. So, i-round up natin. So, 86 vials ang kailangan mo. So, the correct answer is 86 vials. Okay, 86 vials. Sino nakakuha? So, I think nakuha ng karamihan. 86 vials is the correct answer. Okay, madami-dami din. Nagre-raise ng hand. Sir, patingin po ulit ng slide system number. O sige po. 86 yan. Sir, di ba siya pwede sa 10 i-divide? Pwede po, pero kung ano yung nasa situation, yun yung gamitin ninyo. Okay? Pwede pag wala nakalagay. Pero pag may nakalagay sa situation, yun na yung gamitin ninyo. Kasi depende sa yung available na vial dose na gagamitin sa situation. Ito po yung step number 4, ma'am. The determination of annual vaccine ampule or vial. Yan. Okay. So far, nakakasabay naman kayo. Lumabas na po kasi ito sa nursing at saka sa midwife. Although ano lang, basic lang yung tanong, pero dapat handa pa rin tayo sa mga ganyang mga yes, alam nyo ang tinanong lang naman is ilang nanay ang babakunahan, ilang nanay ang babakunahan ng tetanus toxoid. Sa nursing 'yon. Sa midwife naman ilang vials ng measles ang kailangan, and that is the actual board question also. Dati nung ako'y nag-aaral, di ko rin yan naintindihan. Pero pag ifa-follow mo step by step, madali lang po siyang tandaan. Yan, okay na. Sa step number 4, ma'am. Yan, okay na. Next. Nurse V assigned to Barangay Z has a total population of 2,320. How many children ages 0 to 5 years old will she consider as her eligible population? Eligible population. Madali lang din naman ito. Step 1 lang siguro kailangan natin gawin. Tama? So hindi ko natitinan yung sagot nyo kasi I think tama nyo na naman yan. 2,320. So, children ang hinahanap. How many children? So, i-multiply natin siya sa 0.03. Tama? Kasi bata eh. So, 320 times 0.03. So, paano yan? Ano sagot ninyo? May decimal point. Ano sagot? Tingnan ko nga. Okay. Okay, very good. The correct answer is 70, not 69.6. Kasi always remember, you cannot fraction a person. So, dapat i-round up mo na yan. Hindi mo naman pwedeng hatiin ng tao eh. So, kailangan i-round up mo siya into 70. So, the correct answer is 70. Okay, very good po sa mga nagsagot ng 70. Dapat i-round up niyo yan. Pag sa tao po, kailangan buo. Yan. Hindi pwedeng putol. Yan. So, hindi pwedeng 69.6. So, hinati mo pa yung isang tao. So, 70. Yan, 70 na sagot natin. Correct answer, 70. O, nakuha na. Next. Okay, tapos na. So, any question with your target setting? Madali lang po siyang tandaan. Tama po ba? So, sino po nakasabay? Sino nakasabay sa target setting? Be honest. Kung hindi nasabayan, balikan nyo na lang mamaya yung recordings. Yan. Okay. Bladder break, mamaya. Yan. Okay, sige. Mag-bladder break muna tayo bago tayo pumasok sa next nating concept. Our next CHN, MCHP. So bladder break for 15 minutes. Kung gusto magtimpla ng kape, magtimpla na ng kape, magpunas, magpagpag kung kinakailangan. Okay? So be back after 15 minutes. Time check, 2:25. Balik kayo dito mga yan. Okay? So 2:40. Balik dito 2:40. Next topic natin, maternal child health. 2:40 ang balik. Go. So our next topic now is the maternal health program, MCHP. So always remember the Philippines is tasked to reduce the maternal mortality ratio by 3/4 or 75% by year 2015. So this means an MMR of 112 over 100,000 live births in 2010 and an 80 over 100,000 live births by 2015. So yan po yung ating target goal na mapababa. Kasi ang unang goal po dito, kung di nagkakamali, bago po sinabatas itong ating programa, ang dati kasi nitong 80, 52. Sabi nila, parang hindi naman makatotohanan na ma-achieve natin yung 52 maternal deaths over 100,000 live births by 2015. Kaya ngayon, ginawa nilang 80. So, yun yung ating target. Yan. Target natin yan. 80 over 100,000 live births by 2015. So, yun. MCHP. So, isa po sa sikat sa ating maternal child health program na ginagamit natin sa mga buntis ay yung ating home-based mother's record. So, lumalabas po ito sa NP1, NP2, PHCOB. Yan, PHCOB. So, home-based mother's record. It is a tool used when rendering prenatal care containing the risk factors and danger signs of pregnancy. So ito po yung inuuwi ni nanay. Okay? Inuuwi ni nanay tapos dinadala po niya sa tuwing siya magpapa-check up at ina-update natin yung status niya doon. So this home-based mother's record is a system of recording risk factors and it is used for early identification of danger signs and complications needing referrals and treatment of the mother. So yun po yung ating HBMR. Nakakita na po ba ng HBMR? Yung 4 na katupian na papel. Yan. Dala-dala po yan ni nanay sa tuwing siya po yung magpapaprenatal. Yan. So again, a tool used when rendering prenatal care. Pag sinabing tool used when rendering prenatal care, ang sagot sa board exam, home-based mother's record. So anong meron doon? It contains the risk factors and danger signs of pregnancy. Yan. So wag kakalimutan yan. Home-based mother's record. So para saan po ito? For recording purposes. For recording purposes, kasi dito mo mamomonitor, matatrack kung ano na ba yung in-undergo ni nanay na prenatal service. Home-based mother's record. So meron tayo dito mga 4 panels. Sa panel 1, dito mo makikita yung blood type ni nanay, yung family serial number, yung kanyang demographic profile, the full name and address, date of tetanus toxoid given. Ano na yung mga tetanus toxoid na natanggap niya? Yan, dito sa panel 1 mo makikita. Then the obstetrical history, yung GPT palm ni nanay, dito mo makikita. Pangilang pagbubuntis na po niya yan. May previous CS po ba siya? May miscarriage ba? Stillbirths? Or nagkaroon po ba siya ng postpartum hemorrhage sa kanyang recent pregnancy or delivery? Then sa panel 1, makikita mo rin dito yung ating present health problems. May sakit ba si nanay like your TB, heart disease, diabetes, bronchial asthma, or your goiter? Yan. So dito nakalagay sa ating panel 1 itong ating present medical health problems at saka yung kanyang obstetrical history. So yun. Yung tetanus toxoid injections niya, dito mo rin dapat ina-update sa ating panel 1. Again, ulitin ko, panel 1, unang tupi. Dito makikita yung blood type ni nanay, family serial number, maternal information like your full name and address, date of tetanus toxoid given, the obstetrical history, lahat ng mga past history of your pregnancy, na CS ba siya, nagkaroon ba siya ng abortion, nagkaroon ba ng stillbirth delivery, pangilang pagbubuntis na ba niya yan. So sa panel 1 mo makikita. Any history of postpartum hemorrhage or any present medical health problems like TB, heart diseases, diabetes, bronchial asthma, and goiter. So dito mo makikita kung may sakit ba yung buntis na nanay. Okay? So dapat yan yung tinitingnan natin. As nurses, as midwives, ito yung ating hinihingi sa kanila sa tuwing sila pupunta sa ating clinics or sa ating hospital. Kasi kailangan mong i-check kung siya ba ay normal case or abnormal case. Okay? Panel 1. Sa panel 2, dito makikita yung present pregnancy condition, ilang age of gestation ng kanyang pregnancy, asang trimester na po siya, ilang visit na ang kanyang nagagawa, ano yung mga nakikita mong danger signs kay nanay, ano yung mga risk factors na meron sa kanya, nagte-take na ba siya ng folic acid tsaka iron supplement niya, ano yung mga lab test na ginawa na sa kanya, at kailan yung kanyang labor and delivery. Yan. So dito makikita mo ano yung labor and delivery status niya. So yan yung ating panel 2. So in short, pag sinabi mong panel 2, it's all about your present pregnancy condition. Present pregnancy condition, including the present pregnancy condition, including the trimester of her pregnancy, how many months is her pregnancy now, ilang visit na po ang kanya nagagawa. Yan. Ano yung mga danger signs? May nakita ka bang manas, edema? Yan. Meron bang spotting bleedings? So yun po yung ating tatandaan. Then tingnan mo ano yung mga lab test result na nagawa na at saka labor and delivery condition. Okay? So wag niyong kakalimutan yan. Panel 2. Ayan, naintindihan po ba? Again sa panel 1, obstetrical history. Panel 2, present pregnancy. Sa panel 3 naman po ng HBMR, ang makikita mo naman po doon ay kung ano yung kanyang, anong ginawa mo. Yan, referrals, yan yung ginawa mo. Referrals, actions, instructions provided. So bago tayo pumunta doon, kailangan pag-usapan natin what are the danger signs, what are the risk factors in OB or in maternal health. Nakakasabay? Wait lang, kamustahin ko muna kayo, baka nabigla kayo sa ating new concept. Nakakasabay po? Yes, 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 yes. Yes po, yan. Sige daw, tingnan natin. 1 and 2 lang muna paglabanin natin. Saan mo makikita ito? Tetanus toxoid immunization. Tetanus toxoid immunization. Saan mo makikita? 1 or 2? 1. Presence of danger signs and risk factors of pregnancy. Presence of danger signs and risk factor of the mother during pregnancy. 2. How about the age of gestation of her pregnancy? Age of gestation of her pregnancy. 2. How about the full name of the mother, the address, the blood type, the age? 1. Okay, very good. How about your number of visits done by the mother? Number of visits done by the mother. 2. How about your trimester of pregnancy? Trimester of pregnancy? Okay, 2 pa rin. How about history of miscarriage and stillbirth delivery? History of miscarriage and stillbirth delivery. 1. Okay, very good. How about present conditions like your asthma, TB, heart disease, diabetes? Saan po yung makikita? 1. Okay, very good. How about iron supplementations? Laboratory examinations? Saan po makikita yon? Siyempre, pag may kinalaman na sa present pregnancy, 2. Iron, folic, laboratory exams, that is 2. Okay, very good. So ayan, kahit hindi nakalagay sa handouts, madali lang siyang tandaan. So tandaan mo lang, panel 1, nandiyan yung ating maternal information, obstetrical history, tetanus toxoid injections, yun yung panel 1. Sa panel 2, more on your present pregnancy na. Age of gestation, trimester, supplementation, labor and delivery. So yun yung ating panel 2. Okay, babalik po tayo. Yan. Panel 2. Present pregnancy, more on present pregnancy condition. Trimesters, AOG in months, date of visits, kailan siya babalik, yan. Risk factors and danger signs, iron, folic acid supplementations, lab test results, and the labor and delivery. So that is your panel 2. Yan. So, isa sa pinaka-highlight kung bakit kailangan ng ating HBMR para ma-monitor natin kung ano ba yung meron kay nanay na risk factors and danger signs. Yan. Kasi kailangan alamin mo ano ba yung mga risk factors or danger signs na meron kay nanay. Kasi this is a tool that will serve as early identification of abnormalities of your pregnancy para ma-refer natin agad yung nanay. Yan. Kunwari, dumating si nanay, maputla. So, alam mo na, anemic siya. So, kailangan mo magpa-laboratory. So, kailangan niya ng lab test. Yan. Then, after ng lab test, nakita mo nga, mababang hemoglobin hematocrit. Then, bibigyan ng iron supplement or folic acid supplementation. So, yun. Okay? Kasi pag ikaw ay severely anemic in OB, you cannot deliver the baby via normal vaginal delivery. That is panel 2. Kailangan i-normalize mo muna yung kanyang blood values. Ayan, nagets po? So let's talk about your risk factors in OB. So kung ikaw ay isang babaeng ang tangkad mo ay less than 5 feet, kunwari 4'9", 4'8", 4'7", 4, yan. Pag yun yung iyong height, you are high risk in obstetrics. Why? Mas maliit na babae, mas maliit din ang butas ng kanyang pelvic cavity. So there is a risk of your cephalopelvic disproportion kapag masyadong maliit ang isang babae. So any woman less than 5 feet is at risk for CPD. What is CPD? Cephalopelvic disproportion. Yan. Cephalopelvic disproportion. Malaki ang ulo ng baby pero maliit ang butas ng inyong puwerta ng inyong pelvic cavity. So makakalusog ba yung ulo? Hindi. So ano mangyayari? Obstructed labor and delivery. Okay? So that's your height. So if the height is less than 145 centimeter tall or 4 and 9 inches tall, then that is a risk factor in OB. Next, age. Ages below 18 years old and above 35 years old, first-time pregnancy is a high risk in obstetrics. Risk factor po ito. Bakit risk factor? Kasi may chance po sila na makapag-deliver po sila ng mga Down syndrome babies or babies with chromosomal abnormalities. Pag less than 18 years old at nagbuntis, you are very at risk for pre-eclampsia. Pag masyadong bata at nagbuntis, at risk ka sa pre-eclampsia or yung tinatawag natin na pregnancy-induced hypertension. Pag matanda ka naman na, tsaka ka lamang nagbuntis, kunwari 37, 39, 38, 40, 42, first-time mother ka, nagbuntis ka that age. So you are very at risk for placenta previa, H-small, and etc. Okay? And the worst is delivery of a baby with chromosomal abnormality. So yun. May mga Down syndrome, trisomy 21, yan. Trisomy 18, trisomy 21, dwarfism, yan. So yun. So that is your age can also be a risk factor in your obstetrics. So too young can increase your blood pressure, PIH, pregnancy-induced hypertension. Too old can increase the risk of H-small and placenta previa. Huwag niyong kakalimutan yan. Next, At risk din po yung mga nanay na merong recent pregnancy under cesarean section delivery. Yan. So, pag cesarean section delivery ka kasi, kailangan tanungin mo din siya, Sir, pag CS ka ba, CS ka na din ba lagi? Hindi po. Meron din chance na ikaw ay pwede pa rin mag-deliver via normal vaginal delivery. Yan. Meron pa rin naman. Pwede ka pa rin naman mag-normal kapag sinies ka. Pero syempre, 3 to 5 years kailangan yung ating pagitan ng inyong pagbubuntis. Yan. 3 to 5 years. Tandaan yan. Yan. Okay, naintindihan po ba? So we have your, pag na-CS ka, pwede ka pa naman mag-normal delivery. So yun yun. Next, letter M. Letter M. Multi-parity and the last baby born was less than 2 years ago. Yan. Pag ikaw ay multi-parity, kunwari pang-apat mo na, pang-lima mo na ito, tapos ang spacing ng birth or delivery mo is less than 2 years, 2 years, that is high risk in OB. Kasi always remember, safe spacing of pregnancy now is 3 to 5 years. Kailangan pag ikaw ay magbubuntis, may plano magbuntis, may plano manganak, kailangan ang pagitan ng huling baby mo at saka sa pagbubuntis mo, 3 to 5 years. Dati kasi 2 to 3 years. Ngayon, mas safe po ang 3 to 5 years na pagitan. Okay? So, huwag kakalimutan yan. Sir, anong pagtatanungin mo naman, sabi mo kasi kanina, kapag ikaw yung na-CS, pwede rin mag-deliver ng normal vaginal delivery. Basta ma-meet mo yung 3 to 5 years na pagitan at given na ang inyong type of cesarean section ay low transverse. Yan. Kailangan low transverse incision. Kasi pag low transverse incision, it will also permit vaginal delivery. Yan. Pag low transverse, huwag niyong kakalimutan. Basta low transverse ang incision mo sa CS, pwede ka pang mag-vaginal delivery given na meron kang appropriate or tamang birth spacing. So yun yun. Next, letter F. Family history of DM, hypertension, heart disease. Why? Kasi these diseases are genetically or hereditarily acquired. So pwede mo kasing mamana itong mga sakit na to. Diabetes mellitus, hypertension, and heart disease. Next, letter U, underlying condition like TB, goiter, bronchial asthma, and severe anemia. So pag meron pong mga sakit si nanay like your TB, goiter, bronchial asthma, severe anemia, risk in OB po yan. A risk factor in OB. And last, if the mother is less than 45 kilograms or more than 80 kilograms in weight. Pag severely malnourished at saka obese ang nanay, they are considered also as high-risk mothers in obstetrics. So yan po yung mga risk factors natin. So mataba, payatot, yan. High risk po sila pag sila po yung nagbuntis. Okay? So yun po yung ating risk factors in OB under your ano yun? Wow, yan. Hindi po, part po ito ng CHN MCH yan. Ayan. Okay, nakakasabay pa. So yan po yung risk factor. May nagtanong panel 1. Ito po yung panel 1. Okay, balikan nyo ng panel 1. Ito po yung nasa panel 1. So I think bukas na yung COPAR. Sa mga hindi pa po nakakatapos ng diagnostic test niya, pahabol before mag-Saturday, dapat bukas tapos muna yan kasi Saturday ay i-rationalize na po natin yan. Off ng midwife ang Saturday, tapos off naman ng nurses ang Sunday. Kasi midwife naman ang may rationalization ng Sunday. Then Monday, laban ulit tayo sa lecture. Yan. Para hindi kayo ma-exhaust sa ating review. By September, more on night sessions po tayo. Pinapauna ko na kasi I was invited in Bohol, Dumaguete, and Zamboanga. Unless kung gusto niyo iba yung mag-lecture sa inyo. Pero ako kasi ayoko para hindi kayo ma-confuse. At maaari hands-on lang ako. Kasi pag paiba-iba kasing lecturer, baka mamaya may masabi siya na taliwas sa akin or taliwas yung sinabi ko sa kanya. Mako-confuse kayo lalo. So, mas maganda yung isang reference lang tayo. So, paggabi naman, 8 to 10. Depende. Yan. Minsan, nagka-10:30 ako. Pag maganda yung usapan. Yes po, ma'am. Yung 15 years na po na nakalipas, meron yan. Kasi last season, ang dami ko pong mga students na may edad na rin pero after how many years po sila nagtitik ng board exam, pumasa po sila last season. Yung nakakatuwa. Yung iba, 2008 pa, 2012 pa. Mas nauna pa sila nag-board exam sa akin pero last season sila pumasa. Nakakatuwa din. Sa Zamboanga, ilang araw ba ako doon? I think 6 days ata ako doon. 6 days yata po sa Zamboanga. Same po ang time natin. 10 to 4. Sa rationalization. Okay? May aso dito. Saan po makikita? Yung 800 questions po sa nurses po yun. Sa midwife, I think 300 questions po ito. 300 bullet types. Ang Scantron, ginagamit po natin yan kapag may mga post-test tayo. Tsaka diagnostic test, post-test, pre-board, intra-board, yan. Opo, magtuturo po ako sa Zamboanga. Yung 800 po, hindi nyo na po kailangan sagutan yun. May sagot na po yun. Sinadya ko na pong ilagay yung sagot para familiarize na lang yung mga answers niya. Hindi po. Live po yun. Face-to-face po yun. In-invite po ako. Sinagot po nila lahat. Nasa GC po. Yung diagnostic test. Online tomorrow, meron po. Kasi Friday pala naman bukas. Yan. Okay na. Balik tayo dito. Panel po. So sa mga taga Bohol, Dumaguete, Zamboanga yan. Chat nyo lang ako pag nandun ako. Libre nyo ako street foods. Panel 2. So next, after ng risk factors po natin, we have your danger signs also can be found in the panel 2 of HPMR. Ano yung mga danger signs na kailangan i-report natin sa ating health providers? So number 1, any type of vaginal bleeding. Take note, no matter how slight, i-report po natin to. Kahit parang dumural lang yung kipepay mo ng dugo, still worrisome po ito. Kailangan i-report po kasi not normal kapag may lumalabas na dugo sa inyong puwerta kapag kayo ay buntis na. Especially kapag nasa first trimester of pregnancy. Sign po yan ng impending abortion. Pwedeng threatened abortion or mas malala pa pong klase ng abortion. Okay? So, any type of vaginal bleeding should be promptly reported. Next, abnormal din kapag ang nanay ay madalas makaramdam ng headache, dizziness, and blurring of vision. Kasi triad po ito ng hypertension. Headache, dizziness, and blurred vision are triad signs and symptoms of hypertension. Okay? So baka hindi na lang po ito gestational hypertension, baka meron na ring puffiness and puffiness of the face and your hands. Baka hindi na lang siya itong hindi na lang siya high blood. Baka ito ay PIH na. So ang PIH naman, tsaka mo lang ma-define ang PIH kapag merong edema. Huwag niyong kakalimutan. Pag hypertension alone in pregnancy, that is gestational hypertension. Kapag meron ng swellings or edema, then that is a PIH condition, pregnancy-induced hypertension. And another danger sign in OB is your being pale or anemic. So pag nakita mo ito, i-check mo lamang po ito sa box na nasa HBMR. I-check mo lang. Kung nag-prenatal visit yung nanay, nakita mo, ala ma'am, parang ang putla mo. Check mo yun. Okay? Being pale or anemic. O di kaya binipi mo siya, ang taas ng BP niya. Tapos nakita mo manas yung kamay, so i-check mo din yung box na yon. Bakit kailangan mong i-check yan? Para ma-monitor at ma-supervise mo yung ating management sa kanyang condition. Yan. Kasi pag hindi na-manage yun, abnormal yung case, for referral po siya for hospital delivery. Okay? Hindi siya pwedeng manganak sa RHU, hindi siya pwedeng manganak sa mga lying-in clinic. Kailangan sa hospital talaga pag mga abnormal cases of pregnancy. Okay? So that is your danger signs in your OB under your panel 2. Next, panel 3, pag nakita mo na nga itong mga danger signs natin tsaka risk factor, don't forget to refer your patient. Make an appropriate referral. Then you must provide an action and instruction to your patient. Yan, provide treatment, provide instructions. Nakita mo anemic, edi mag-dispense ka ng iron supplement. Sir, pwede po ba yun? Yes, pwede po tayo mag-dispense doon ng iron supplement. Okay, panel 3. Sa panel 4 naman, more on postpartum care na po tayo dito, family planning, breastfeeding, and vitamin A supplementation. So kadalasan kapag nanganak ang nanay within the first 1 month of pregnancy of your delivery, kailangan mapatakan mo siya ng 200,000 international unit of vitamin A para ito ay may pasuso niya sa kanyang baby. Okay? So yun. So malinaw po tayo sa ating HBMR. So tapos na po tayo sa ating HBMR. So yan makita mo sa ating panel 4, postpartum care, family planning, breastfeeding, vitamin A, vitamin A 200,000 IU once a month for the first month after delivery. Yan. So kailangan maipatak mo yan within the first month after delivery. Yan, panel 4. Next, maternal death. Sabi ko nga nung tayo nag-umpisa ng topic, in the Philippines, 10 to 11 mothers die each day due to pregnancy and delivery complications. Maraming namamatay na nanay sa Pilipinas. Kada araw po yan, 10 to 11 mothers die each day in the Philippines due to complication of pregnancy and delivery. So if we define maternal death is defined as death of a woman while pregnant or within 42 days of termination of pregnancy. So, ilang araw ang palugit para maisama natin siyang maternal death? 42 days. That is a common board question. Maternal death is defined as death of the mother while pregnant or within 42 days after the termination of your pregnancy. Kunwari, na-abort yung kanyang pregnancy tapos namatay siya mga 2 weeks after ng kanyang abortion, still that is a maternal death. Gets po bang ibig kong sabihin? Yan. Pero pag ang nanay ay namatay sa ibang dahilan, kunwari, namatay si nanay kasi nagdigti siya, that is co-accidental death. Co-accidental or co-incidental maternal death. Mga ganun, yung mga hindi na related sa OB. Pag related naman, excuse lang po. Ayan, sorry. Tinamas ko lang yung aso. Ulitin ko daw yung maternal death. Ang maternal death, that is a death of a woman while pregnant or within 42 days of termination of pregnancy. So, any woman na namamatay, okay, mga babae na namamatay sa loob ng 42 days after na lumabas yung product of pregnancy is still counted po ito as maternal death. Sa maternal death kasi nahahati po ito sa tatlo. Yan. Meron tayo dito tinatawag na direct maternal death, indirect maternal death, at saka co-accidental or incidental. Yan. Direct, indirect, and co-incidental. Pag sinabi mong direct maternal death, ito yung mga kamatayan ng nanay na related sa pagbubuntis. Dinugo, ano pa, na-obstruct yung labor, nagkaroon ng infection kasi nga naiwan yung placenta. Pag may kinalaman sa kanyang pregnancy and delivery, that is direct maternal death. Ang indirect maternal deaths naman, may kinalaman sa mga medical conditions na pinalala ng kanyang pagbubuntis. Kunwari, namatay si nanay kasi inatake sa puso. Although kahit buntis po siya, inatake naman siya sa puso. Anong cause of death? Heart attack. So heart attack is not a direct maternal death. That is indirect maternal death. Ano pa? A mother who died due to vehicular accident. Kunwari, namatay yung nanay kasi na-aksidente sa daan. That is indirect maternal death also. So wag niyong kakalimutan yun. Okay? So ano pa? Namatay yung nanay kasi na dengue. Direct or indirect? Indirect. Namatay yung nanay kasi na COVID siya, nagka-pneumonia, namatay. Indirect maternal death. Namatay yung nanay kasi nag-hypertonic ang uterus, nag-rupture ang uterus, dinugo. Direct. Namatay si nanay kasi nag-hemorrhage siya secondary to ectopic pregnancy. Direct. So yun, okay? Pag may kinalaman sa kanyang pagbubuntis or panganganak, direct po yun. Pag may kinalaman sa mga sakit, that is your indirect. Like your pneumonia, heart disease, TB, dengue, malaria, anemia. So indirect po yung mga yon. Okay? Pag mga heart diseases. So nakuha po ang aking ibig sabihin sa ating 3 types of your maternal death. Yung coincidental naman, ito naman yung mga nabaliw, nagpakamatay na nanay, yan. Nabaril, pinatay, ni-rape. So mga coincidental naman po yun. Coincidental, co-accidental, maternal death. Okay, so yun yun. Pag direct, mga related sa pregnancy and delivery. Pag indirect, ito yung mga sakit, yan. Na-aggravate due to pregnancy condition. Diseases aggravated by pregnancy condition. Like heart disease, TB, malaria, etc., etc. Okay? So malinaw. So what are the direct maternal death causes? House mnemonics, hemorrhage, obstructed labor, unsafe abortion, sepsis. Sepsis is infection. Itong sepsis na to, pwede mangyari ito sa kahit anumang bleeding disorders of pregnancy. Sepsis secondary to abortion, sepsis secondary to small pregnancy, sepsis secondary to your abruption placenta, placenta previa, retained products. So basta sepsis infection po ito. Yan. And eclampsia and PIH. So these are the direct maternal deaths of the mothers. So sabi nga natin, the leading cause of death of mother is hemorrhage. And if we define hemorrhage, hemorrhage is more than 500 ml in normal spontaneous vaginal delivery and more than 1,000 ml in cesarean section delivery. So yun yun. Okay? So tsaka mo lang i-criteria, kailangan mo lang i-define na hemorrhage kapag meron ng 500 ml or more ang blood loss ni nanay. Pag NSVD. Pag more than 1,000 naman, that is hemorrhage already for CSD. Yeah. Okay? So direct maternal death. So any question with your direct, indirect, and coincidental deaths? May tanong? May katanungan po ba tayo sa ating incidentals? Direct, indirect. Sir, pag postpartum depression tas nagpakamatay, ano naman po yun? That is your coincidental. Coincidental. Yes po, tama, Ma'am Aliyah. Yan. Acknowledge ko, naintindihan po yung ating maternal deaths. Okay. Next, let's talk about your daily iron and folic acid supplementation of pregnant women. So isa po ito sa in-emphasize natin lagi sa ating prenatal check-ups or prenatal visits. Yung pagtitake ng iron tsaka folic acid ng mga buntis na nanay. So always remember, it is a common board question that World Health Organization and national guideline recommends that all pregnant women should receive a daily oral iron and folic acid supplementation, 60 milligram of iron plus 400 microgram or 0.4 milligram of folic acid for 6 months. Approximately, kailangan nagte-take daw po sila ng folic at saka iron 125 days. Yan, 6 months. 6 months. To prevent maternal anemia, puerperal sepsis, low birth weight, and preterm birth delivery. So marami pong maiiwasan yung ating folic acid and iron during pregnancy. It can prevent anemia, sepsis, or postpartum infection. Pag sinabi po natin puerperal sepsis, postpartum infection po ito. Low birth weight and preterm birth. Yan, low birth weight and preterm birth. So take note, according to WHO, folic acid should be commenced as early as possible. Ideally po na ang ating folic ideally daw, kailangan daw ang folic acid ay tinetake na ng mga buntis na nanay, ideally, before conception pa. Ibig sabihin po yan, kayo ngayon, since hindi pa kayo buntis, once na niregla na ang isang babae, recommended na po na dapat kasama na sa diet nila ang folic acid at saka iron. Para in any case na sila ay mabuntis, healthy po yung baby nila. Bakit? Because folic acid or the vitamin B9 or the folate can prevent episodes of babies born with neural tube defects. Ano ba mga neural tube defects, sir? Mga spina bifida and spina occulta. Yung mga meningococcele, myelomeningococcele, or the encephalopathy. So yun yung mga maiwasan natin. At saka itong ating folic acid, nakakatulong din ito para makaiwas tayo sa pag-deliver ng mga batang may bingot. Yan. Para hindi po bingot yung batang lumabas, may cleft lip, cleft palate, kailangan tuloy-tuloy lamang yung folic acid supplementation niya. Okay? So yun tatandaan natin. Again, ilang milligrams of iron? 60 milligrams of iron. How about your folic acid? 400 microgram. So anong mas malaki? Iron or folic acid? Iron. Kasi milligram yung iron, yung folic acid is microgram only. Okay? So yun yun. So daily po ba? Yes. Ilang araw? 125 days. Ilang buwan yung 125 days? 6 months. 6 months. O, nakasabay? O, 6 months po yun. Again, so napaka-importante po ng folic acid. Lumalabas po yung lagi sa board exam to prevent neural tube defects. Example ng neural tube defects, myelomeningococcele, meningococcele, and encephalopathy. Kayang-kaya din po niyang iwasan yung tinatawag natin na cleft lip and your cleft palate. Yan. Kayang-kaya niyang iwasan yung cleft lip at saka cleft palate or yung mga batang pinapanganak na may bingot. Yan, okay? So yun yun. Any question with your supplementation? Meron? May katanungan po ba sa supplementation or wala? Anong pagkain po ang kakainin na rich in folic acid? Green leafy vegetables are the good sources of folic acid, also with legumes. Yan. Ano naman legumes natin? Buto-buto. Mongo beans. Yan. Mongo beans, string beans, almond nuts, cereals, broccoli, moringa or malunggay. Yan. Mataas po yan sa folic acid. Mga green leafy vegetables. Green leafy vegetables and legumes. Last May board exam, nursing board exam, ang daming lumabas about folic acid. Lumabas yan last board exam ninyo. Ask the mother to continue to take folic acid. Magandang-ganyang sagot sa board exam last May. Encephalofascin. Encephalocele. Myelomeningocele, meningocele, at saka encephalocele. Vitamin B complex, folic acid. Yung B complex po, hindi po siya recommended as daily supplement ng buntis. Ang vitamin B ay recommended lang kapag meron ka mga discomforts like nausea and vomiting and thialism. Yes, once a day lang po. Puerperal sepsis is postpartum infection. Thialism is excessive salivation. Yan, okay. Next, prenatal contact or visit. So nasabi ko naman na po ito. So no need na ulitin ko. Sa WHO, 8 prenatal contacts, DOH mandate or recommended by DOH, minimum of 4 prenatal visit. So yung pagkakaiba niya. DOH recommends minimum of 4 prenatal visit. At least 4 prenatal visit by DOH. And by WHO naman, 8 prenatal contacts. Yan, 8 prenatal contacts. So, ang visit po nila, it takes place at 20 weeks, 26 weeks, 30 weeks, 34 weeks, 36 weeks, 38 weeks, and 40 weeks. So, hindi naman itatanong pa yan sa board. Tatanungin lang, ilang prenatal visit daw, sabi ni DOH. 4 prenatal visit. Ilang prenatal visit daw, according to WHO, 8 prenatal contact. Oo, so yun. So that is a common board. DOH, 4 prenatal visit. WHO, 8 prenatal contacts. Okay? Next, nutrition. You must emphasize the importance of nutrition during each prenatal contact. Number 1, eat nutritious food like fruits and vegetables. Avoid excessive weight gain. Daily oral iron and folic, 60 mg of iron and 400 microgram of folic acid. Then, isa pang recommendation na bago, daily calcium supplement, around 1.5 to 2 grams per day. Yan, 1.5 to 2 grams per day. Your calcium supplement here will prevent preeclampsia. It will prevent preeclampsia and eclampsia. Then, advise mothers not to smoke and drink alcohol. Kasi smoking can cause small for gestational age baby. That is the number 1 cause of SGA baby. Smoking. Yan. Smoking is the number 1 cause of small for gestational age baby and low birth weight babies. Yung alcohol naman, it can lead to fetal alcohol syndrome. So, bawal po. No safe level of alcohol should be taken during pregnancy period. Okay? Ayan. Tapusin lang natin dito. Sa nutrition, madali lang tandaan. Eat nutritious food. Alam niyo na yan. Fruits and vegetables. Avoid excessive weight gain. Daily oral iron and folic acid intake. 60 mg of iron plus 400 microgram folic acid. Then, daily calcium supplementation of 1.5 to 2 grams to prevent eclampsia. And no smoking and drinking of alcohol. So, yun yan. So, yan. So, bukas, pag-usapan natin ang tetanus toxoid hanggang sa ating COPAR. Yung nutrition, separate date po yan. I think meron tayong separate schedule sa ating nutrition. So, review your notes for 5 minutes. Low birth weight, tama. 5 minutes, scan your notes para mag-post test po tayo. So bukas, 10 a.m. ulit po tayo hanggang alas 4 pa rin. Tulad ng sabi ko, sa mga hindi pa nakakatapos ng kanyang diagnostic test, pakisagutan na lamang po. Para sa Sabado ay nakakasabay po kayo sa rationalization. Don't miss rationalizations kasi doon natin makikita yung tamang sagot tsaka test-taking strategies. Ayan, so acknowledge, review your notes for 5 minutes. Yes, pwede pa pong mag-answer. Hindi, bukas na lang yung COPAR. Bukas na lang yung COPAR. Konti lang naman yung COPAR, madali lang siya. Mga 30 minutes tapos na yung COPAR. Saan po pwede makita ang questions? Nasa GC. Nasa group chat po yun. 5 minutes, scan your notes. Sir, whole day po ba tayo sa Saturday? Yes. 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Opo, lahat po ng ating mga sessions recorded po siya. Pag hindi maka-attend, balikan na lamang sa recordings tapos checka na lamang yung papel habang nakikinig. Ganun, sa Sunday sa midwife, Saturday nurses, Sunday midwife. Sunday off ng nurse. Saturday off ng midwife. By September, gabi, 8 to 10 p.m. Mababreak yung time natin, 8 to 10 p.m., 8 to 10 p.m. Sa umaga, kung gusto niyo manood ng videos sa ating group, meron namang mga recent videos pa nung last season eh. Pwede niyo naman na rin panoorin yun in advance sa ating lecture. Yan. Para pag nag-lecture ulit ako, yan, naintindihan mo na. Para hindi sayang yung oras mo. Bali midwife, walang pasok sa Saturday, tama. Kasi Sunday ang pasok nyo. Nurse naman ang walang pasok ng Sunday. Pag nag-start ng MS ng midwife, si Sir Greg ata yung mag-take over MS sa nursing, mag-start na kami sa MS. Sir Greg ang mag-take over sa inyo sa midwife. Booster yan. Ma'am Rochelle, Sorobio, ano pangalan po nun? Ma'am Rochelle, ano pangalan po nung sinasabi mo po? Hindi po, chosen schedule lang, I think, OBpedia lecture yung 8 to 10. Hindi naman whole September, hindi siya whole September. Para mag-start ito ng 5, September 5 yata mag-start yun. September 5 kung nagkakamali. Krisha Nelguarin. Krisha. Facebook name po yan, ma'am. Sige po, mamaya. Kasi kaninang lunch break ay may na-replyan naman po ako. Opo. Ano yung 8 a.m. to 10 a.m.? No, 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Gabi. Gabi po yun. Sige po. I-resend ko na lang ulit mama yung schedule sa group chats natin. Oo. Sir Farca, ano po yun? Krisha. Sige. Yes po. Midwife din. Opo. So sa araw, it's either magbasa, manood ng recording videos na nasa group natin sa Facebook para na-advance nyo na rin. Kasi meron na din naman mga ano to, lahat ng subjects may mga recordings na actually. Lahat ng subjects natin may recordings na last season. So pwede nyo siyang panoorin para pag nag-lecture ulit ako ng live, may mga nasabi ako doon na hindi ko masasabi ngayon or may nasabi ako ngayon na hindi ko nasabi sa kanila dati. Ganun. So at least okay, so since yan, sige po. Mamaya mag-open ako. Maidlip lang ako saglit. Number 1. Ayan na, number 1 na po tayo. Labas na ng papel, labas na ng papel. Number 1, number 1. Number 1. Number 1. Ready na? One, two, three, four, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ay, 1, 2, 3, 4 lang pala. Give at least 4 conditions that can be treated by Acapulco herbal medicine. 4 conditions that can be treated by Acapulco medicine, herbal medicine according to DOH. 4. 4. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 conditions that can be treated by Acapulco herbal medicine according to DOH. 4. Nakuha po ba yung 1, 2, 3, 4? Pack knowledge po tayo. Medyo choppy yata ako. May na-signal. Pack knowledge, 1, 2, 3, 4, nakuha. Okay, nakuha. Next, number 5. Number 5. The target age for human papillomavirus immunization. The target age group of HPV immunization. Number 5, the target age of HPV immunization. Number 6, what is the Republic Act for Local Autonomy Code? Republic Act for Local Autonomy Code. Republic Act for Local Autonomy Code. Number 6. Next, number 7. What is the chemoprophylactic drug? Choppy ba? Number 7. What is the chemoprophylactic drug for malaria? Number 7. Number 5 po, paulit sir. Number 5 po is target age group for HPV immunization. HPV immunization. Target age group for HPV immunization. Baka may magtanong ng number 6, Local Autonomy Code. Ang number 6, what is the Republic Act for the Local Autonomy Code? Number 6 yun. Tsaka pag may magtanong ulit, number 7, what is the chemoprophylactic drug for malaria? Chemoprophylactic drug for malaria. Happy ba? Number 7, chemoprophylactic drug for malaria. Nagchachapi ako pag may tumatawag kasi. Yan. Number 7, chemoprophylactic drug for malaria. Next, number 8, how about the chemoprophylactic drug for leptospirosis? Yan, chemoprophylactic prophylactic drug for leptospirosis, number 8. Next, number 9. Number 9, number 10, number 11. Give at least 3 vaccines which are very sensitive to freezing. Sensitive to freezing. Paulit ng number 8, chemoprophylactic drug for leptospirosis. Chemoprophylactic drug for leptospirosis. Number 9, number 10, number 11, at least 3 freeze-sensitive vaccine. 3 freeze-sensitive vaccines. Number 12, recommended prenatal visit by the DOH. Recommended number of prenatal visit by DOH. Number 12, recommended prenatal visit by DOH. Next, number 9, how about the recommended number of prenatal contacts by WHO? Recommended number of prenatal contacts by WHO. Number 13 po yun, recommended. Tama, number 13 pala. Recommended prenatal contacts by WHO. Next, number 14. Number 14. What is the storage temperature of BCG? What is the storage temperature of BCG? Storage temperature of BCG. Then last number. How about the storage temperature of measles vaccine? Again, storage temperature of measles vaccine. Nakuha po, acknowledge ko nakuha yung 15 items. Okay, opo. Okay, so correct your own paper. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Scabies, ringworm, athlete's foot, and Tinea flava. In any order na po yun. Scabies, ringworm, athlete's foot, and Tinea flava. So yun yung ating sagot doon. Scabies, ringworm, athlete's foot, Tinea flava. 1, 2, 3, 4 yun. 1, 2, 3, 4, scabies, ringworm, athlete's foot, Tinea flava in any order. Anti-fungi, mali, mali. Kasi ang tanong ko is condition that can be treated by Acapulco Herbal Medicine by DOH. Pag Tagalog, mali. Kailangan, scabies, ringworm, athlete's foot, Tinea flava. Yan. Hindi. Kahit kahit tama yan, dapat mali yan, mali yan. Kati-kati, mali yan. Mali yan. Ano ka na? Nagtagalog na. Scabies, ringworm, athlete's foot, Tinea flava. Sabi na, hindi nyo matatama yung 4 na yun, ha. Walang eczema doon. Walang eczema. Kasi hindi naman siya fungal infection. Roundworm, mali. Nyog-nyogan po yung roundworm. Insect bites, na yan? Yerba buena yan. Next, number 5, 9 to 12 years old. Yan, 9 to 12 years old. Number 5, 9 to 12. Next, number 6, RA 7160, 7160. RA 7160, number 6. Number 7, chloroquine. Yan, chloroquine. Chloroquine drug. Chloroquine. Hydrochloroquine, tama. Chloroquine, tama pa rin yan. Next, number 8, doxycycline. Number 8, doxycycline. Number 9, number 10, number 11. At least 3 sensitive to freezing vaccine. TT, DPT, Hepa B. Mali. Mali na naman, Ma'am Ami. Freeze sensitive po tinatanong natin, na hindi yung nakalagay sa freezer. Yung bawal ma-freeze, yung bawal matigasan, yan. Ang bawal tumigas, TT, DPT, Hepa B. Penta, pasok din yung penta. Next, number 12. 4. Yan, 4. Number 12 is 4. Number 13 is 8. Number 12 is 4. Number 13 is 8. Ito, number 14. BCG storage temperature, positive 2 to positive 8. Positive 2 to positive 8. Yan. Pag 2 to 8, tama. Pag negative 2, mali po yan. Mali po ang negative 2. Positive 2 lang. Okay lang kahit wala ng sign sana. Yan. Pero pag nilagyan mo ng negative, mali. Yan. Next, number 15. Storage temperature ng measles, negative 15 to negative 25 degrees Celsius. Yan, negative 15 to negative 25. Passing score is 9/15. Yan, passing score. Score reveal. Parang nahihirapan kayo yung quiz natin ngayon. Tapos po natin lahat yan. Wala pa akong tinanong na hindi natin napag-usapan. Score. 12/15. Mataas pa rin naman. 13/15. Yung isa baliktad daw. So pag baliktad mo yung freezer tsaka ref, huwag niyong kakalimutan. Ganun sa board exam. Magbibigay ng bakuna, tatanungin anong storage temperature niya, so dapat alam nyo. Okay, so far isa pa lang, dalawang hindi nakaabot sa 9. Pahirap daw yung Acapulco. Madali nga yun eh. Di ba? Scabies, ringworm, athlete's foot. Pag pala may enumeration sa actual board exam, wala na. Rapeworm, anong rapeworm? Mali, walang tapeworm, ringworm. Okay. So yan po bukas. Ayan. Bukas kita-kits po ulit tayo sa ating next topic discussion bukas. So nakaseparate po ang communicable disease sa ating lectures. So ayan. So end ko na yung ating